I'm ex-Mexican Special Forces. I was assigned to the 28th Region of the Mexican Army. I was there for a few years with them. I went on to be part of the Mexican Federal Police, where I was assigned to do various counter-narcotics and counter-kidnapping operations. I did that for a few years. I then went on to be part of some of the high-ranking officials in Mexico's security force detail member. On one such occasion, when I was protecting a particular Mexican politician, we were actually doing security for the building he was staying at during the night. There were some rowdy people in the parking lot near where we were. We went out to investigate after various neighbors started complaining. They saw we were police officers and they came up to us and pointed out the people that were causing all the commotion. I usually carry a Glock 17 as a sidearm, and we all carry long arms, M16s, Mossberg shotguns, and MP5s, depending on the job, depending on the weapon. And almost none of us carries an edge weapon. That's something that I've been doing lately. Ever since I started Libre, I've been putting more focus in my knife work. It's something that I really need. I really think is essential to what we do as a backup weapon. So we approached these rowdy people. Turns out these people were up to no good. They were actually doing. They were actually fighting about some drug money or something like that. There were weapons in the cars they had. They were outside the cars. So as I approached one of them to see what was happening, he dashed towards one of the vehicles that had an open door. There was a 45 handgun just on the passenger seat. So they actually went for it. So as I went towards him, he turned around and grabbed me. Now at that point, close quarters, I had no option pulling my sidearm because my hand was actually pinned in front of me towards my chest, which is exactly where I carry my knife, center line, on top of my belt buckle. So I pulled the knife out, and I did what in Libre they call a pendulum. I caught the hand that was trying to disarm me was actually caught via that pendulum, and I actually lacerated deeply into the beginning of his thumb on his hand. Then I went up with the knife as he was still coming towards me, and cut him right on top of his right eye, doing a flicking motion that I also learned, I believe, right. After that, we went to the floor, and most of the guys had my guys had their guns out, so everybody pretty much hit the floor, and we cuffed all of them. And that's only then that we realized that most of them had guns on them, and two of the cars had AK-47s and a lot of money and drugs. And well, they're now in jail right now for narcotics.
A few years ago, I got an email from a guy bitching at me that we were stabbing to the throat wrong. My response was, I wasn't aware that there's a wrong way to stab someone in the throat. And I kind of realized at that point that Libre wasn't for everyone. There are people who are just so committed to what they perceive to be traditional martial arts that they'll never be able to see beyond it. And I'm not going to tell these people that their methods are wrong or that Libre is somehow superior. It's just a different approach. The techniques in Libre are meant to be a rough structure. They can be shaped and molded and modified and adapted. Training in Libre shouldn't be dogmatic. It should be an ongoing process of research and development by the individual. I'll never tell someone, no, that's wrong. I'll only tell them, this is the way I do it and here's why. I never expect someone to take me at my word. People in Libre have the freedom to experiment and refine and find what works for them. So that's why you'll see our groups in various parts of the US and London and Indonesia. They all move a little bit differently from each other. This isn't a traditional martial art, and it isn't a traditional approach. If you're going to do Libre right, you're going to have to put a piece of yourself into it and make your Libre unique to you. First thing we're going to look at is grips with a knife. So starting out, basic grip is a hammer grip. Want the blade in line with these knuckles here. Most important part is you want the thumb wrapped around the handle. Don't let it ride along the back here. Wrap it around nice and tight. Riding the thumb along the back of the blade weakens your grip. It's real easy to lose it, and when you do this in sparring, you'll learn very quickly that it very quickly will get knocked out of your hand. So make sure you have a good, tight, firm grip on the blade here. Hammer grip, basic attacks. So you have your slashing attacks, your stabbing attacks where we're actually driving the blade deep into the body. We also have plucking attacks. Plucking attacks are used with the first 1 inch of the blade to dig into the eye and pluck, or dig into the throat and pluck. We also have filleting attacks. Filleting attacks are using the blade to fillet along the arm into the throat. We can also fillet the face here. Or we can also use the blade for a pressing attack where we can press into the opponent's throat with the flat of the blade to drive them into a wall, then slash them open. Next we can move into a ripcord grip. Ripcord grip is a transitional grip. We don't actually fight from this grip here, but there are times when administering a technique we'll roll the blade into our hand into a reverse position to rip open the abdomen or rip open the throat here. So this is your hammer, this is the ripcord, and just practice flipping this back and forth to get used to converting from a standard hammer grip to the ripcord grip here. After a little bit of practice, it'll become second nature. Okay, now we have the ice pick grip. Ice pick grip, there's two ways to hold the blade. If there's some kind of cross guard here, like this knife has, you'll want to wrap your thumb around it for the same reason, because you have a much firmer grip. However, if there's no kind of cross guard to prevent your hand from sliding up on the blade, you're going to want to put your thumb along the back here to prevent your hand from sliding up onto the blade when you stab. So generally for practice, I usually have my guys practice in this grip just because it forces them to hold the blade tighter. So moving on to styles of attack, we're gonna have slashing attacks. Usually when we slash in this grip, we're gonna be coming up the face here. We have stabbing attacks, driving the blade into the body. Plucking attacks, again using the first 1 inch of the blade and plucking with it. We also have scoring attacks, using the tip of the blade and bringing it down the opponent's face. We can also flick with the blade in a horizontal motion here. So we'll flick across the opponent's eye. It's very similar to an abanico motion in Filipino martial arts. Going into the side grip, we're going to hold it in ice pick position, but with the blade facing in. This is my personal favorite grip. The reason why is because we can fillet with this. So we give up the ability to slash, but what we can do is every time the opponent blocks our attack, we could drag the blade back along their forearm, cut and fillet their arm open. So every time we put the blade into play, we can do damage to the opponent, even if he defends our attack. When I teach military and law enforcement, this is the grip I teach them to work out of. So we no longer have the ability to slash, but we can still use our sending motion to flick the eye here. Or we can still use our horizontal flick and come across the eye here. Of course, we also have our stabbing attacks coming in and our plucking attacks where we use the first 1 inch of the blade to pluck to the eye or pluck to the throat here. Now we can score the face on the way down using the tip of the blade and dragging it down the opponent's face, trying to nick the eye and do damage there. So we're going to start off with the 5-pack. First motion of the 5-pack, he's going to enter in on this line, stabbing through this artery. The strike he's going for is just a stab into his carotid artery here. Go ahead and get a couple of those in. Now, the 5-pack is a set of techniques that's used to tear through the opponent's defense in this situation. So this first motion, he's coming in on this line. Armando's going to intercept. He's going to check the arm down and continue through and strike this artery. Now, when he checks the arm down, he's actually moving Armando's shoulders to line up his targets here so he can go through the windpipe and both arteries in one stab. So go through it a few times. Second motion of the 5-pack, we're going to use the same entry, only now he's going to pick up the attack with his left hand, so he's going to reach down, trap this arm. If he's fortunate, he may be able to actually trap the knife hand underneath the left arm and continue through with the stab to the throat. So go through that slow. Just full speed. Okay, third motion of the 5-pack, Steve's going to be entering in with his backhand strike again. This time Armando's going to intercept with his left. Steve's going to reach underneath, throw the hand, and then throw the stab to the throat. Okay, fourth motion, Armando's going to intercept with his left, Steve's going to clear out of the way. Armando picks it up with his right, Steve's going to check it down. Again, lining him up for the stab. The stab is called the Trinity, where we go through both arteries and the windpipe. Let's go through it slow. Fifth push for the 5-pack. Steve's going to enter into his backhand, Armando intercepts. Steve's going to check his arm down, carrying both the knife and his hand down with the opponent's arm. As he steps through, he's going to slash the throat, then hit the kidney. Go that slow a couple times. Go ahead and switch around. Now with this kidney shot, he's attacking Armando's right kidney. The reason why is if he attacks the left kidney, Armando's going to be more apt to turn around on him. When he attacks the right kidney, he pushes Armando away from him. Now a little intricacy of this technique, when you attack the kidney, you actually want to twist a little bit as you go in. That twist is going to attack his nerve endings and give him more of a jump moving away from you. Go through at full speed. This moves us into the 5-pack free flow. With the free flow, Steve's going to interact with his backhand, Armando's going to intercept. Sometimes he'll intercept with his right, sometimes he'll be right-left. Sometimes he'll intercept with his left. Sometimes it'll be left-right. We're going to stick with the first 4 motions of the 5-pack. So Steve isn't going to know how Armando is going to intercept it. He's going to have to react to Armando's movements. When you practice this, you want to go as fast as you can without missing. As soon as you start missing, you want to slow it down. If you're catching everyone, speed it up a little bit. That's where you're going to find out where you are with this drill. So go ahead and start off slow and pick up some speed with it.
I've been doing the module training in Libre. Part of the training I had from Scott was included some foot trapping. Foot trapping that I was not familiar with. Very simple, very direct in the motion that is taught in Libre. Very real world, actually. It's something I learned in a single session. It's something I went on to use actually when I was doing a close protection detail with one of the top politicians down in Mexico. We were doing a public political rally, and one of the counter political party members went up to the person I was protecting. And he reached for his throat. That's when I immediately did a foot trap that I was taught in Libre by stepping on his foot and pushing on his upper body. I caused him to go down. between the people, it's actually very fast. No commotion was apparent to everybody else. Nobody even realized what was happening, and we just passed right through. The threat was gone. We moved right through the multitude of people, and I literally learned that the guy that actually tried to do the aggression on the principal I was with had his ankle broken, and actually it was really swollen when he was being loaded up into one of the ambulances.
Variations of the 5-pack. First variation is an ascending flick. So as I enter in here, when I check, I'm going to hop straight up and use the tip of the blade to score his eye. Now I don't want to make this a 1, 2, 3 motion. It should be 1, 2. Second variation, so horizontal flick. So as I come in here, I'm going to keep the knife vertical and just use the tip to flick across his right eye here. So this is very similar to an Abanico motion in Filipino martial arts. So as I come in here, same thing. I don't want to make this a 1, 2, 3 motion. It should be 1, 2. Third motion is an eye pluck. So with the eye pluck, I'm going to check down, roll my knife over, use the tip to attack his left eye, and pluck back here. Now very important when I do this, I want to make sure that I'm not pointing the knife back at me to come back. Here, my blade stays oriented between us here. 1, 2. 1, 2. Next variation is a facial score. As I come in here, I'm going to check the arm, bring my knife up, bend my knees, and drop down, scoring the face. So 1, 2. What this does is it leaves my arm elevated to protect me from his left hand. These attacks to the eyes lead us into the concept of blindsiding. So if I come in here and I attack his right eye, I'll use that moment to move into this blindside I just created to continue pressing my attack. So I come in here, I'll strike, then move over here and continue attacking my opponent. If I move to his left here, I'll pluck here. 1. Then I can move into this blindside I just created and continue my attack. The arm hook is used as an escape off the wall, so my back's against the wall. I need to move Steve to the wall here and I need to escape. So as I enter in here, I'm going to hook down, check under his elbow, trapping his arm between my blade and my hand. I'm going to pull here, take a step forward, moving him against the wall, raise up, and stab his brainstem. Now the stab, your natural instinct is going to be to come with a backhand. Backhand strikes don't have the same accuracy or penetrating power that an overhand stab does. So as I come through here, step, I'm going to bring it up to my right ear and stab him here. following up, so I come through here, I can put him against the wall, get my stab in. Now I can hold him against the wall, so continue my attack. Positioning him against the wall, so I attack here, then step forward, moving him. Now when I get him in here and I get my stab in here, now that I have him pinned against the wall, I can continue my attack on him. Subclavian artery stab, she's going to enter in on the same line, check the arm down, and stab into the subclavian artery here. Now this is a risky shot to take because what can happen is this muscle can tighten, trapping the knife between the tendon and the bone. So you might not be able to pull the knife straight out. So when the blade's in the wound, in the body here, she's going to step forward and actually rip the wound open to pull the blade out. So the second variation of the subclavian artery stab, she's going to enter in on the backhand, check the arm down, and stab in. For practice this time she's going to come in behind the shoulder because she's going to be pulling him down, then rolling the blade, and slicing down the right side of the spine. Now in the actual application of this, when she hits the subclavian artery, the blade will actually be in his body. But for practice, we're going to come behind the shoulder here. Reaper variations are variations in the side grip, which the blade is held, the blade facing in. So I'm going to enter in using my basic 5-pack entry here, still using my Trinity, coming through both arteries in the windpipe. But this time, while the blade is in his neck, I'm going to raise up. I'm going to use my hand here to check, move out of range of his blade, and rip his throat open. So we come through here, 1, 2. Second variation, so I check in here, gonna come in behind the elbow, turning his shoulder, come in, stab into his back, the right side of his spine. I'm gonna come down and slap the top of my hand, rip the connective tissue coming into his back here, open. Be careful not to bring the point of the blade into your own thigh. 1, check, step behind him, stab, rip. One of the key elements of Libre is using the walls to trap the opponent. We call this wall work. So I'm going to use the 5-pack, first entry. So I come in here, so I check, I'm going to step in here, I'm going to get my shot, step in here, and I'm pushing off with my back leg. 90% of my weight is on my back leg, 10% is on my front leg. This is just enough to help steady and balance me. But I'm really pushing off my back leg, pinning him against the wall here. So I'm not just standing up straight holding him, I'm actually pushing him into the wall, trapping him here. So I come in here with one, trap him here. Notice my arm across his arm here, trapping his knife hand against his body, and then close, very tight. So once, coming in here. Now in the street, when I do this, I would really want to slam him into the wall hard. For practice, I'm not going to do that to him, no. Also, I can sneak a headbutt in here before I follow up. Now we follow up the wall work with patterns. These aren't specific targets that I'm hitting, it's just a concept of targets I'm going to hit. So the first one we're going to work is high-low. So I get my initial stab in here, and I'm just going to work his target from the top down. So I've got his brachials, his lung, his groin. If it's open to me, I can take his femoral in here. Second pattern we're going to use, so I attack him here, I get my shot into his throat in, my trinity. Once I get him trapped, now I'm going to work low-high. Femorals, lungs, brachials, whatever he gives me. One, two. Third pattern, I'm going to work from the outside in. So, attack here, I'm going to take a brachial, femoral, lung. So just working my way to the middle. Last pattern, I'm going to work from the middle out. So I enter in here, take my initial shot, the lungs, brachial, femoral, or I could work here, then work low, then back high. Okay, second motion of the 5-pack. I enter in here. Now I have two choices. If I come in, past his forearm here, he's going to sit more flush. This is a faster entry that I can get in, but also leaves me more vulnerable. So if I can, I'll sneak around here and try and hook behind his elbow, get my shot. And this turns him, turns his knife away from me, gives me a better set of targets to attack here. One. Pass, get my shot in, and when I get up on him here, my shoulder's against his, I'm in very tight against him, pushing off of my back leg, keeping him trapped against the wall. The same patterns apply. I come in here, one, work high, brain stem, lungs, kidney. Attacking his eye, brainstem, lung, whatever he's giving me. I can even try and sneak in a shot to his femoral here if it's available to me. Second pattern, working low to high. looking at my initial shot. When I get up on him, I have his kidneys, lungs, brainstem. So third pattern, so I come in here, to work from the outside in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth pattern, come in here, hit, work from the inside out. So I'm going to start with the lungs, brainstem, kidneys. 2, 3. So one variation we have, it's a subtle variation, but it can actually produce a really wicked wound. So when I come in here, when I hit with my Trinity, I'm actually going to roll the knife while it's in his neck here to open the wound up and pull it out over here. It takes a half beat longer, but it's going to produce a much nastier wound. And I can move back into my patterns. Enter in here, twist it, pull out, and press through. One of the people I actually trained with that works with one of the groups down in Mexico actually had most of the group he works with has absolutely no knife work training at all. I had the opportunity to cross train with them, and part of the cross training involved edge awareness and knife work. So I taught them a few of the Libre knife work combatives I've learned from Scott. They actually went on a very high-risk operation down in Mexico, part of the counter-narcotics work they're doing right now in the southern part of Mexico. The group I cross-trained with actually went into a narco compound. Probably about 50 men inside the compound. There were a lot of casualties trying to enter into the compound, and at the moment they were clearing the houses, there were a lot of casualties on both sides. One of the guys I actually trained in, I actually showed some of the knife work, went into a room, and he was doing room clearing. It was a large house, lots of rooms. He quickly learned that the 15-man strong group that went into the house to try to clear it was a bit too small to clear such a big house, so they started to get separated as they progressed room to room. So when they were making it to the end of the hall, he went into one of the rooms and he realized he was actually just had one other guy in the next room. He was alone in the room. He just started clearing the room, and out of one of the dead spots, the places he had actually no visibility, one of the corners, a guy, one of the narco guys popped out and grabbed his rifle. And as he was grabbing his rifle, my friend pinned him against the wall doing some of the Libre wall work, and went to work with his knife on him, and he actually did quick work of him. He went down fast. He actually dropped after about 3 stabs, one to the chest, which actually was really deep, and a few others to the arms and the stomach. After they were looking after they searched him, they realized he was trying to pull out a .45 caliber handgun from his trousers. So he was alive when they cuffed him and dragged him out. He probably bled out as they were dragging him out. That was a recent operation. That was an operation that
cost lots of lives on both sides. And my friend actually emailed me and told me the story, and I later contacted him by phone. He was very thankful for the lesson I showed him on knife work and on Libre. And it's something that he now teaches other guys, the new guys that come into his group.